Have you ever gotten wrecked? Like totally wrecked? Like lost your entire account wrecked? How many of you people have gone through that too? Because I've been 80% liquidated before when I was first starting on crypto. It taught me a lesson never to make a mistake like that ever again, and you still make more mistakes. So today this video is actually gonna tell you what type of mistakes that I've made personally, things that I've learned from those mistakes to make me a better trader, to make me a better investor, to make me better at reading people. Because there's a lot of that. You need really good EQ skills to be a good investor and a good trader. And you also need to be very good with emotion. So there's a lot of things I'm gonna go over today of why I had big losses, big wins, what were the differences, how was the mindset changed, when did I make big mistakes, how was my mindset in those mistakes, and then really just give you a layout of things that you hopefully haven't gone through, or if you haven't gone through all of them, and that you can learn and actually look for things a little bit faster and kind of make better decisions because of it. So I'm gonna go through a list of great things. I also want to tell you something. If you feel recently like, wow, the market has been really hard, you know what? It's been hard for me too. You know, I'm down in terms of I'm not wrecked. I am not at a loss, of course, but I'm down a lot from the value of the holdings that I have that went up a lot, and then a lot of them retraced almost back to where they started. Now, we all go through this. This is part of the cycle, right? The psychology is that everyone's getting really fearful and scared. Market cycles have never ended that early. And we really didn't get a euphoric phase or anything like that, like this cycle. And it's not indicative of a market cycle. So I'm still thinking we're going to get somewhere with this cycle, but it's going to be a little bit different. And how it's being different is we're going to have a lot less projects that are going to focus on a lot of the liquidity. And I think a lot of the meme coins will still have small liquidity, but the big liquidity is going to start going to real stuff because real money will start to come in. Right now, it's just a casino. Let's be honest. So one thing I want to remind you guys of is when the market's down and you feel like it's all horrible, whatever, wake up and just laugh. A good friend of mine is a billionaire. I've done videos with him before. You may know who it is. If you do know who it is, comment below who I'm talking about. And this certain billionaire called him up. I was like, wow, the market dropped a lot. I was so shocked. You know, I wasn't in leverage positions and getting wrecked like everybody else. I was just shocked at like how, you know, this part of the cycle, you could have such a huge drawdown and FTX levels, cascading levels. It was wild to watch. So he just told me laugh, you know, don't be sad. It's not going to help your day. Laugh, keep your mindset, you know, be happy. You're alive. You woke up. Be grateful for the things that you have. You know, most people in crypto haven't lost everything. And if you have, you can always make it back, right? So the real point that I want to get to is, you know, it's a long cycle and there's a lot of opportunities still there, but we're going to have to shift our mindset a little bit and laugh about the mistakes that we've made. So that's why I'm starting with that, because if you laugh about the things that you've done wrong, like laugh at yourself, you have humility with your own self. I think having humility with yourself is very important because you can forgive yourself and then everything kind of starts to work out. So don't like live in your mistakes that you've made and things like that. So let's start on mistakes. Mistake number one, you probably would hear me talk about it for years already, and I'm one of the only people who really tell people risk management, risk management, risk management. The number one mistake, and the reason why so many people get wrecked, is because when the markets are doing what you want them to do, or you get lucky in an investment, you instantly think that you're smarter than everybody else. And that goes into one of our later quotes that I'm going to talk about. But you start thinking that I am smarter than everyone. I can't make mistakes. I've done 3 in a row, which made me X amount of money. I'm so smart. And then they lose half of their stack in the next trade. So learning about risk management is more for you not to take too much risk and lose everything in one, like in gamble. And the other side is to keep your balance so that you're not super sad or happy when one of your investments doesn't do well, because you have other ones that can pull them each other up. But most importantly, when you're trading, risk management is number one. Same as gambling, you have to do your units and risk management as well. So really, really important. And the thing that will lose you the most money in crypto is not learning how to do this very simple thing. Divide your risk by your stop loss. If your risk is $100, you divide it by, let's say, 5% stop loss, 0.05, right? Which would mean that $5,000 goes into your position. And from that $5,000, if you hit your stop loss, you lose $100. So that's how it works, right? And I think that it's really important to know that. Otherwise, you're gonna get wrecked because you don't know what you should already know, okay? So that's number one. Number two, and very, very extremely important, another thing that people do is they start trading, They don't know, they don't have a plan, they don't learn from someone. They think, I'm just gonna pick up this skill that like these guys who spend years and years perfecting and actually still most don't win. I'm gonna learn this and I'm gonna become effective at it. And again, fooling yourself, thinking that you're a good trader because you make a few good ones while the market's going up, and then we have a sell-off like we've had recently and the market goes down and you're like stuck with your thumb in your butt and you don't know what to do because you're pretty much screwed. So understanding that is so important. Following someone else who trades that is good sounds like a great idea. But if you don't understand risk management, emotional management, you don't understand the strategy itself, so you don't really know what you're doing. That's why most people go from this free bot service, this bot service, that bot service. It's gonna do everything for you. We'll never lose. And they lose all their money most of the time with those services too. Because even those will have drawdown, even those will have risk, right? So, and some of those, and a lot of them are pretty much scams. So the question is, how do you solve that? Well, I have personally given free trading courses in my community. All they have to do is basically come into my network and get the playbook and use it, which is basically how do I spend crypto, how do I travel with crypto, how to do everything with crypto, right? So give them the whole playbook. The number one thing that I tell everybody is no one who's successful got there easily. And success doesn't mean that your mom and dad left you a bunch of money in a trust fund. Success means that you never gave up. Success means that you're a grinder, that you're there every day, that you are going to be committed to making something successful. And that doesn't rely on others. I have met very few people ever who didn't have their feet in the sand grinding like Elon's a great example of that. He's there all the time. He works 16-hour days. He's always on point. You have to be like that to be a top tier trader. You have to be in the trenches. You have to be there. So do not learn from other people in a way where you're just copying what they do and you don't understand it. No, take your time, learn your own skill. Those skills are there, they've been around. Anyone can learn how to do these things, right? And then understand that your strategy is only as good as your emotional side of your mind. Because if you're emotional, then you're not gonna make good decisions anyways. You'll miss things. So this is number 3, and I think it ties into the other 2 as well. And this is really important, is to understand fear and greed. FOMO, greed, and fear. Why do you need to understand these things? I'm gonna tell you the biggest mistakes that I think I've ever made were I'm gonna cut this trade because things are dropping so much and I'm scared that I'm gonna lose this trade even though the TA said that it was fine. And I cut that trade and the very next day there's a pump and literally goes beyond the level that I wanted to sell at to make my trade profitable. Instead, I cut it at a loss. And I didn't do that just once. I did it tens of times, hundreds probably, while I was still learning. And yeah, I was cutting them for a win, so it wasn't a horrible thing, but I lost out on huge ROI from that because I used emotion. Now, what was I feeling like? Well, these are things you have to understand. Emotion is not just from the market. Emotion can be your life. People get stressed out. People have wives that fight with them. People have kids that are very difficult sometimes. And then you're all riled up and you go to sit down and you're like, oh, this is a great trade. And you don't think in the same mindset and it kills your trade. So a really, really important thing is to understand your own emotions before you even sit down in front of the computer. How do I feel today? If I'm happy and everything is good and things are going great and I go and sit down to look at trades, I'm like just chilling, I'm just doing my thing. But if I'm all pissed off and emotional, I see a trade and maybe I make a bad trade because I'm emotional and then I get really angry and make a revenge trade and then I lose even more money. And that's what generally happens to most people. And that's why they lose so much from fear and greed. And then there's the greedy side is it's never gonna come back down. It's never gonna come back down. I'm up 40x, I'm up 10x. It's never coming down, it's going to 100x. The biggest mistake you could ever make is letting that greed stop you from taking profit. Because everything that goes up goes down, and when it goes up really fast and you don't take profit, it goes down like an elevator that has literally been cut from the strings. So it goes down fast, right? So you have to understand that if you're taking profit and you have a plan, then your greed and your fear don't really affect you. Yeah, your greed will be, oh, I could have sold here and I sold at $1, now it's $2. But you didn't sell all your bag at $1. So you have that risk management to know how to create the strategy for yourself. So then you know when your emotions are there, how do I set it up so I'm not emotional? And then stop losses, so I know when things are hitting my stop loss, I'm happy to lose this money. Not happy, but it's like going to the casino and putting $100 on a blackjack table where you lose $100, it doesn't affect you, right? So it could be $10, it could be $5, doesn't matter. The point is you learn that and then you expand off of it. So number 3 is emotions, fear and greed. They tie into not learning risk management and not doing the work and just following other people. When the market's dropping and you're down 12% on a trade and you didn't make the trade and you don't know why the person did, you are very likely to cut that trade at a loss. You're also very likely, when you don't know how much higher it can go, when you're not greedy, to cut the trade at a small win because you don't know, and then you screw up your risk management. Because if you're cutting trades at 1x and then you're losing a trade at 1x, you're going break even. That's not a very good risk reward ratio. Again, that's all part of risk management that you would learn. Number 4, really, really important one, okay? This one is not trusting your gut. When someone pitches to you enough times, and earlier on it's harder to know, when your gut tells you something like you should cut this trade, you're feeling like you should cut the trade, you think you should cut the trade, you probably should cut the trade, unless you're emotional. But if you look at the chart and you're like, something feels off about that, I don't know what it is, your brain has pattern recognition. So always trust your gut. If you're doing a same type of trade for 5 years and you see that trade, you'll know every chart setup because you've made mistakes on those same trades of certain things that you can do that would make your accuracy higher. Even when you do a multiple choice question, the first answer you think it is almost always the answer it is. Why is that? Because our gut instinct tells us what actually is the right way to go. Now, when you're looking at trading and investing, it's exactly the same. And when your gut has told you, no, I don't want to invest in this project, one of my mistakes is I let another one of my friends convince me that I can't miss it and make me emotional and use FOMO to FOMO me in with them. That has cost me a hell of a lot of money, because when I already thought this project didn't make sense and I let my friends push me into it, then basically I go in this project and yeah, sometimes I've won, but most of the time I've lost when I've done that. Because in general, when you go into a project and you've already said no because you've already had the call and you already felt not so good about it, you should never go back on your gut feeling. The same way as when your mind is telling, your body and everything is telling you to cut a trade. The trade looks okay, it doesn't look horrible, it doesn't look bad like it could stop out, but you're looking at the market and it gives you that gut feeling. Use that gut feeling. It is going to be right most of the time. And the worst thing that can happen to you is not getting out before it drops. Because if you sell and it goes higher, you lose 0% of what you had at the initial starting point. But if you do the opposite and you let it drop and then you didn't sell, now you lose all that profit. So there's a risk reward there that you start thinking about and planning for. Number 5, this one is pretty obvious. Not doing DD properly, okay? That's number 1. So no trusting that your friends did the research or the VC's done the research and that whatever, just not doing the work, again, ties into the other points that I was talking about. Another really important one is anonymous founders. If someone won't show you their face and you're investing money into them, that's super sketchy, right? It's different than like some fair launch, which still is also quite sketchy, but pretty transparent in that regard. It's much better to give people money that are happy to show their face. And I know some of the legit anon guys in the space, right? So I'm not saying that it doesn't have merit. I'm saying when you don't know these people, giving them your money, it can disappear, they're anonymous and they're gone. And I've gotten wrecked from that too. I'm sure a lot of you have given someone who's doing the project and poof, the person deletes their account and they're gone. Like you don't know who they are. They're dead. It's gone. Your money's disappeared. So that mistake is really important. And tying into that, the last thing that I want to tell you is that friends, when you're supporting friends, make sure of one thing. And my partner, Joey, he works with me. He always says that you can be business partners and then be friends, or do business and be friends, but you can't be friends and then do business. I think that's very wise advice. Why I say that is because I've tried to do businesses with my friends multiple times, and the people that burned me the worst were the people I was closest to. So that doesn't mean that it's gonna happen and it's guaranteed. What I'm saying is risk reward. As a trader, I think about this. I go, is it worth losing your friend and money, or is it better to just let someone else who isn't your friend lose your money and then you still have the friendship? I think it's better to keep the friendship because you'll feel worse that you don't have that friend around. Now, of course, friends come and go, but you know what I mean? It's probably a better feeling for you to have a lifelong friend, stay a lifelong friend. So I would say that the risk is there, and I've lost a lot of money with my friends. And if you're gonna invest in them because you're gonna support them, that's one thing. If you do that, pretend you don't have the money, it's gone. If you think the money's gone, you won't care, right? So you have to expect nothing completely, like 100%. When you give a friend money, you don't expect anything back. So I wanna finish this off with a really cool quote, because Richard Feynman said that the first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. So what does he mean by that? He means that just because you make a few good trades, you're not an expert, you don't really know what you're doing, don't fool yourself into thinking that you're smarter than you are. Not saying that you can't get there, but don't pretend you have tons of experience and know what you're doing and make those mistakes. And the reality is that's a lot of the crypto market. Many of these guys fool themselves into thinking that their product or service is going to make a revolutionary, disruptive tech or whatever, and it really is only doing a little improvement on what Web 2 has done, and it doesn't really need crypto. So yeah, don't fool yourself, because we can all fool ourselves. I try to keep it real, as you guys who know me know, and I think it's really important to be authentic and real with people instead of try to bait them all the time. I do believe we're going to have a bull market though, so at least there's that. So those are some mistakes that I think are extremely important to focus on, especially if you're new. And new is still under 4 years trading. Like, this is new, right? I've been here 12 years. That's old in the crypto space. And I have people that I call OGs that I'm not an OG technically from 2013. I know guys from 2011. Those guys are more the OG of OGs. So the question I have for you guys is, what have been your biggest mistakes? I would love to know if you guys can comment below if there's anything that you could add in. We could talk about projects and stuff, but I've made mistakes with projects. I've been honest about what happens with those. They don't always work, obviously. And again, don't go with people that you think are friends, and yeah, don't rely on others to do the hard work for you. It's really important. So if you guys know or can tag a friend that has had some crazy stuff happen to them, make a comment, that'd be great. If you would like to tag an influencer, you can do that now and just tag them and say, hey, you never lost a crypto trade in your life. Is this true? Or is there any other lessons that you would add to coach? So yeah, that'd be great. All of us have lost, all of us have won. And I think it's really important to be real about that. You win and you lose in crypto. You win and you lose in trading. You win and you lose in gambling. That's part of the game. It's about following people who are genuine, actually want to help you, and that ultimately will lead you to the right path. Don't follow quick money and that stuff. That's not what you want to do. A lot of people now in the crypto market are going, do I have to go work at McDonald's? Maybe. That's a possibility, but like you just understand a few things. I'll leave you guys with a little bit of mindset, little things to think about is, how do you improve your life, right? So if it's really a struggle, I've been there, I've literally been there with barely any money left. Don't know how I'm going to get by, right? I've been there. So I've been there and I'm here. And I'm still doing okay. And in the market's not been as friendly as to anybody, but I'm still okay. And I found out other ways and reshifted my mindset and figured out ways to still be able to be profitable and still make good trades and do all the stuff that I need to do with my team. But the point is how do you improve? Well, you start with one simple thing a day. One simple thing. Okay, so a lot of people say, I want to be a better trader. Try to do one thing a day. Learn more about your strategy. Learn more about your mistakes. Start journaling. Learn one new thing a day. That's it. And so if it's like making your bed in the morning, that's one day. And the second day, if it's making breakfast for you and your family, that could be number 2, right? So figure out what things you want to do to improve your life. So one thing I'm going to leave you with today that's a little bit different, I'm going to do some mindset stuff with you. A lot of people say market's horrible. They're focusing on all the negatives. Number 1, remember to laugh. Laugh in the morning. Figure out what you're grateful for. Life could be way worse. Trust me. There's always someone who has it worse than you. So just get the mindset right first thing in the morning. Love your kids. Give them a kiss. Hug them. Everything's going to be okay. Remember, all of this isn't real. It's just a piece of paper. That's it. So we can all get there. I know it's a struggle for some of you, but it's going to be okay. And what's really important right now is how do you get better every day? And you know how simple that is? It could be you don't brush your teeth every morning, so brushing your teeth every morning. It could be I don't make my bed, so making my bed. It could be I want to learn a new skill and starting to learn the new skill. You can do so much in a day. So start tomorrow. Start today. Just do something that you think you want to learn, you want to do, and just go do it. Because the reality is when you go to the gym, I don't want to go to the gym. No one ever wants to go to the gym, really. A lot of people don't anyways. But once you get to the gym, what do? You work. You get to work. Right? So the point is treat everything like that. Treat everything like you're going to go and you're going to get the work in. And that's going to improve your life. And so that could be learning a new skill like coding. That can be learning that you're actually good at marketing and trying to put yourself out there. But go do something that actually can impact you, because nobody else is going to do it for you. I have a lot of people who I work with them or whatever, and then they come back to me after and they're like, oh man, I'm in this horrible situation. And they're always in a horrible situation because they focus on horrible situations. So the point is, all you have to do to improve your life is figure out how do you not have those in situations. And she was like, oh, I need money and this stuff, this specific person. And I was like, it's okay, no problem. But no one helped me when I needed money. No one helped me, gave a helping hand. I did the work, and then people valued my value. So start focusing on what you do well and do it better. Start focusing on the things that you could do better and do those better. and you're slowly going to make yourself more valuable. That is how you get paid in the real world. Payday is time. You pay with your life, your time on this earth. So don't waste it, because, I'm 39. If I didn't do the work, I'd be 39, still a teacher, making $50K a year, barely be able to afford to do anything really fun. Life would be getting harder because things are getting more expensive. Instead, I took action, and so should you. So I'll leave that with you guys today. Let me know how you thought of this video. Did you like these types of videos? A little bit different than just trading, and focus on mindset and other things that can help you. We're gonna be doing more of these types of videos, and I wanna know as well, what do you want me to roast? What projects? I wanna cut them a new asshole. So let's figure it out together. Peace out, everybody.